You know, matchmaking is a mess, and I think this game is a perfect example of it not only being a mess, but continuing to be an issue, because when people queue at the quote-unquote wrong time, they get these spaghetti kind of queues. They get these queues where it's like, you shouldn't necessarily be here, or technically I shouldn't have been in a game like this, because if this were an actual diamond player, they probably wouldn't be able to handle the specific situation going on in this particular game. It would be a lot more difficult for them to kind of play around the team and pay attention to what's going on and kind of have a little bit more intuition about positioning and readiness with what's going on in the particular game. It's just a lot more difficult for people to kind of set that kind of stuff up when you're playing or taking a person from one specific skill tier and then completely forcing them into another. So this game otherwise would have probably been very difficult, but knowing that I have been around this level before, that I currently play at this level, and that I have played at a higher level in this game, then I would say that it's not necessarily always going to be fair, depending on when you queue. And what I mean by that is, if you are trying to match for a game at like 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. in America, usually Eastern time for me, so I'm just going to go by Eastern time. So 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. Eastern time, if you try to queue during that time, your skill tier, your bracket is just going to widen and widen based on the lower amount of players that are currently on. Especially if you're playing on PC, I feel that I see a lot more top 500s in my games on my diamond accounts when I'm at this particular time, because this was I think this was about 4 a.m. for me when we were playing this game, and it just, we keep getting these games with people that are very highly skilled. Necessarily not to say that we're not that level, that I'm not at that level of gameplay, but it's just kind of strange for me on a diamond account to be facing top 500s and grandmasters in my games. Now, I think that's also a double-edged sword, because let's say that you actually are a diamond player, you're not that great at the game, yet you're not a grandmaster player, and you're getting shoved into a grandmaster game. Are you going to lose the same amount of SR if the teams are considered quote-unquote equal? It's just one of those things that I've always kind of wondered, and I keep trying to test to figure out when the best time to queue is and when the best time to not queue is, because I know that there are some people in top 500 that actually abuse this and only queue at these times to go up against diamonds and just completely slaughter them. Now, that is definitely something that has happened. People do that. It's going to continue to happen. So queuing at the specific times, if you want to, I feel if you want to get better, you want to queue when you know that the most amount of people are going to be on the game, because that gives you people that are going to be closer to your skill rank, typically closer to your skill rank, and based on how many people that you're queuing with, will definitely shift the tides to either being, oh, are you going up against a little bit harder sets of teams? Are they giving you worse players to kind of balance out your little 3-stack or 2-stack that you've got going on, so on and so forth. But I feel that this game is just a clear example of queuing at the absolute worst time for personal improvement, or improvement as a small group, because you're going up against any kind of skill level, just absolutely just random amounts of good or bad players on a specific team, and it's just very difficult sometimes to find a game within a good time frame. Now, you could definitely queue at these hours, you can definitely see what it's like, see if you climb or if you fall, either or. I just feel that Blizzard doesn't know what to do with the amount of wait time that's added on for people that queue at these specific hours. Like, let's say that you just get off work at this time and you want to queue and play the game, so you're going to have to go up against top 500s as a diamond player. Things like that are just, I don't think that should have to happen. I feel that it should be able to find people within their skill bracket a lot easier. Like, I shouldn't be going against people that are playing on accounts that are 1,000 to 2,000 skill rating higher than the I think it was a 3.2 account that I'm playing on, and I'm going up against people that are at 4.4, 4.5, and this particular game specifically, it's just like, come on, man, like, we shouldn't have to be going against those kinds of people as this rank. But again, it's just, it shouldn't happen. It is. I can't change it. I can't make it any different than what it was. And as you can see, we're doing fine in this particular situation, but that's just because I'm not an actual diamond player. I'm just playing on one of my diamond accounts of the several accounts that I use to play this game, to try different things out and kind of test around in the Overwatch meta, see what's going on, how people interact with each other, and obviously from some of the videos that we've seen recently about how those interactions can be detrimental to a team, can seem very toxic, or just funny moments, things that happen. And I'll definitely make more of those kinds of videos, but I definitely want to hear you all's opinion about this particular kind of scenario. You're a diamond player, you just want to play your game, and you keep getting matched up with people that you feel are significantly out of your skill bracket. Do you feel intimidated by this, or what do you do to try and avoid it? And for me, I know that, let's say I'm just trying to queue when there's a whole bunch of people within my specific skill bracket, quote-unquote skill bracket on the account that I'm using. I just get on at the proper time, and I definitely think the proper time is when most people are playing the game in my areas, which is usually after work, about, I would say, 6 p.m. California time, or 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is, you know, 6 or 7 around that time, or that would be 9 or 10 around my time, about, I think is the best time. And then after about 2 a.m. to 3 a.m., that's when the game kind of starts to die down in my area. But again, as always, I love to hear y'all's opinion. I want to know what you all think about queuing at the wrong time, or what's the right time to queue. I personally think it's when those times I expressed earlier, and then not queuing at the other times in the morning, like I did for this particular game, queuing at 4 a.m. and it's just it's a very interesting time zone where just people are playing at these very just strange times. But as always, guys, I appreciate your opinion. I'm currently in the process of moving, so I will get back to making more edits. I will get back to streaming as soon as we get everything squared away and I get my address changed and everything, and we're good to go. And obviously, if you have any questions or want to know what's going on, you can hit me up on Twitter, or you can ask me here, because I'll definitely be checking those comments to see what you guys say. And as always, and yes, I do read those comments, because I had somebody recently saying it's like, oh, he'll never read this, and it's like I responded to it immediately. Like, I respond to most of my comments. It's just things like that. But anyway, guys, just let me know what's going on, and I will talk to you all in the next video. All right, peace.
Aigey.